And we're live, and none of our patrons have joined us yet because they're jerks.
Really? Okay, well,
I
hello,
did
lads.
post the link in the patron thing, and they just haven't joined us yet. I mean, they've only been a few minutes, but
Well,
honestly, I expected better of you, Joe.
Joe McClory is at the Ren Fair, though.
Oh, right. Okay, that explains that. Doesn't explain anything.
hmm well, like, hello, John P. Hello, like, Jody Dishes Heretic, as it were, and it remind me that like I will post your links to like in the live chat as well. Joey, the links you have to like give you money is in charity links on that page. I forgot to mention that I think on social media, but I have been sharing your links around in places as well. So hopefully get some like money to like help you get assistance for what you need because like yeah add Jody Dishes Heretic to the list of many people that have been denied disability just because, like, well, you're physically able enough to work, so you don't get money. Does work because that's all the whole point of like those disability like
The point is not
distance
to
of.
give people their benefits, but to deny people their benefits.
Mhm. It's kind of like easier to destroy things than it is to create things, as it were, weirdly enough. But yeah, right, yes, it's the Patreon show. There's like and I also when I have like money to give, I'll check to see if I have money to give. It's between like you, Joanne, and Phoenix of like where to give my money or overcharge my credit card as always. And I'll see how comfortable of a limit I am of overcharging it too as well. Um, let's see. But and also it is my birthday. I'm
Happy
now
birthday!
39.
You
Y
survived another year.
yes, that's at least something, as it were. And I'm going to be like a bit busy. Settle up Metzwell, and like, anyone, Joe P, Joey, Joey, you actually have the link to the thing too, so you can join us if you want. And like, but any of you can like join us as well because like, let's be honest, this show would be a bit boring if it's just the two of us. I do have things to talk about too.
Cool.
It but it should Joe McCord link should be for the patrons unless John Brockman screwed it up.
I should. I put it in the thing. It's in the thing. I put it in the thing. If I
Try
can
to
find
refresh,
the right part.
Joe McCord. So I share around in like those places.
Yes,
Now I'm going to go
it is now in the comments of the thing.
in the comments of the thing. Ah, okay.
Wait,
Well,
no, I
there
put
you
it in the
go.
wrong thing. There we go. Now I put it in the right thing.
At least Joe McCord came into like the live chat to like said link as
To
it were because
complain.
like well, yes, absolutely.
Okay, now
Because
I
like
know why
I'm
nobody was showing up. I put the link in the wrong spot. But I still judge Joe. Even though he and Elia both commented on that post asking for a link.
well, that's a wonderful start to the select show, isn't it? So, yeah, hello, lads, lasses, and be badasses. So I'm sharing the link right now. To all the places, so I'll be a bit distracted at that, but not too distracted. Because as yeah, like so uh. What have you been up to, like John Brockman, other than just like Ubering as we're at odd
It's
hours
really
of the
just
night?
maneuvering. It has been a weird, tiring week. Because like the Tuesday and Thursday, no Wednesday and Friday were kind of bad days. And there's Joe wearing a floppy hat.
Connecting to audio, so right
He
now we
probably
can't
didn't hear
hear
me
Joe
insult his
yet.
hat.
It,
But yeah, Wednesday and Friday were slow days. But Monday, Wednesday, and Tuesday, Thursday, and yesterday, I got long trips: Atlanta, Charlotte, and Cherokee, which is just a casino on the Cherokee Reservation in North Carolina.
I figured.
So there were long days, good, productive days, but long days. So I am tired. Can you hear us, Joe?
Yep.
Your
Can you
dog's
hear me?
floppy.
Yes, and your hat is floppy.
It is.
You're wearing boxers on your head.
Hello, Groundhog. You put it in the chat. Metro, try that link. Is it work? No, wait, that's GoFundMe, actually. Oh wait. Okay, I do know, like, actually, like, Phoenix is like a PayPal link, but like it's under their dead name, so that's why they don't like to share it as often. But like Metro in like DMs, I can share it to you if you're able to like give money to like Phoenix that way. I think it's in charity links on page too, so it should be like working there. But if that link is not current and not working, then I'll have to like update that. And hello, Ely. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Does Phoenix's PayPal? Oh, PayPal. Okay. Because their Patreon still works.
The Patreon should still work because otherwise, like, I'm not, they have not been like giving them money like each month as it were. But I think that should work, hopefully. And if that's not working, then like, okay, then
I give them money every month.
same here. Probably could up that as well, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say in the Patreon page, it doesn't work as a link, but if you copy and paste it, it works. I don't know why it doesn't work as a link.
Yes, I did EM you in like at Metro. I did you Venus is like a PayPal in and on Discord as well. And I'm so like should be sharing the things from that link around the Patreon show. So since we're in the Patreon show, let's thank the rest of our patrons as well. Brown Rock, Tim, Flora, Marty, Aaron, Stat Noise, the Fuck Boys, in Eli and Joe. So how you both been doing? I think I already asked that, but like let's ask it again.
I am doing splendidly,
Hey,
especially since I decided to sit down and take my heavy leather vest off.
mm.
It's a little hot for that.
Honestly, given the Little Ice Age, Ren Fairs should probably be. No, wait. Little Ice Age was early modern.
So yeah, yesterday was kind of a long day for me because I woke up at like 4:30 a.m. is where to go to work. The plan all because I know that my brothers and like two friends of my oldest brother was going to see Across the Spider-Verse movie last night at 7:40. It was a great movie. I recommend it if you, especially if you love the other Spider-Verse movie, you're gonna enjoy this one. And so I wanted to, but I was still coming into work on Saturday. And I wanted to like get like as many hours in working on Saturday as I could, and I did. But I waking up at 4:30 a.m. to get to work at like 6:40 a.m. is where. But put them up by full like 11 hours, and not this is not the case where it's just like, oh yeah, I need to come into work and like hold on, I posted it. I should not have posted it in that Discord server. They don't want politics in that Discord server. I deleted it anyway. No, I have work to do. I need to come in on Saturday because they do work on Friday, which was still true. But it's just like no, I actually had a lot of work to do. But like, so yeah, yesterday was kind of a tiring day. But like, I got plenty of sleep last night, so there's that. And as I said earlier, it's my birthday, and I have no plans, honestly, for my birthday other than this, of course. Streaming on. Thank you. I'm now 39. It's not that interesting of a number, honestly, because with 37, I can go, I'm 37, not old, quoting Monty Python and the Holy Grail, or quoting Clerks, 37!
Whereas if you try and say you're not old now, you just sound sad.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, and John Brockman has just been like tiring. And
long hours driving, but productive.
Yeah.
I'm moving in a couple of weeks, and so we got bills piling up.
Oh.
Well, that's always fun.
Yeah.
But you're on a really nice beach.
Yes. I'm playing pretend.
So Joe, how's the Ren Fair been so far?
You eat a turkey leg?
Fantastic.
Nice. You haven't done a pub crawl yet, or you did that last night?
I did that yesterday, so
Mm-hmm.
I am not nearly as drunk as I was last time.
Hey, you sobered up by the end of the conversation, though, so there's that. So yeah, I do have like something in the topic to bring up because like it's a continuing topic and it's like more involving as we're um more and more people are like stop subscribing to and following the Young Turks just
Yeah,
because
I
of
know
like
Anna Kasparian
yes,
has come out as a
Yeah.
turf.
yes,
And of course, Cenk was always kind of a douche canoe.
yeah, he always was. I mean, like so. Yeah, it's honestly difficult. So I've never watched the Young Turks. I just know of them, as it were, and like, so it's just like it's easy for me to like maybe like, okay, that's cool. Then they'll say the right things occasionally. But when like. Ahsoka with like I think Captain Andy and Garrett had both said this. It's like their impression of like Cenk Uygur is that like he is like he can just like so move just ease into the billionaire role just quite well. If he's suddenly a billionaire, he can just like morph into like that billionaire kind of character quite easily. And like, so that was kind of like always the impression I had. But remember, Dave Rubin started on the Young Turks too, and left because he wasn't going to get like $1 million a year for doing just 1 hour work a week, as were. But like the
It's
most
amazing
recent,
how they weren't willing to give him all the money to sit there, smile, and nod for fascists.
yeah. But then it's just like last year when like the members of the employees of the Anarcho started to unionize. I think Cenk Uygur was against that, so there's definitely that. And hearing more of what like Cenk has been saying is just like, oh, but it won't win elections, it won't win elections, and won't win elections, and it's like. I have my opinions on electoralism. To be fair to Cenk, he actually did like run for Congress unsuccessfully though. So at least he's putting his like money where his mouth is, or his actions where his mouth is, or practice what he's preaching. I'll give him that, even though he was unsuccessful. Um, but like the most recent things is just like so. Yeah, the Anna Kaspera is just www down on Turfism because not only did she say "please don't call me a birther" as it were, which like
No one is calling her that.
No, they're
Mhm.
calling
It's
her a
like,
turf.
Well,
yeah,
now.
yeah, and it's like no one is calling it's medical language to be inclusive of non-binary people and trans men. It hasn't. It's just like just stop it. No one is preventing you from saying woman.
Mhm.
It's like and
They're
mother.
only, criticizing you if you restrict it to people who were born with vaginas.
Yeah, it's just
And the worst part is it like didn't even like start out like everyone being like, yeah, she's awful. It was all like, yeah, this is a bad take. Like
Mhm.
you're just doing this take real bad.
Mm-hmm. Is it, and it kind of, I like it. Yeah, it's like I had a guest subscription to TOIT for 3 months now, and I'm basically using it to like a bitch about their big tree chat. I encourage this absolutely, because no, yeah. It's like as Anna Kaspera was just taking something that wasn't about her, and again, not only is like using birthers or like people who menstruate again is what that the people who menstruate was what started J.K. Rowling to like show her turfiness as well too. It was just like we're not saying this directly to you. It's not about you. You're making it about you. Is we're but it's also accurate too because there are cis women that don't have uteruses, hysterectomies, and so
and, and after a certain age, most cis women don't menstruate, and
yeah.
and it's just like I I really don't get this. It just seems very fragile in a weird in a weird way, it's just like no one's stopping you from using the word woman about you, but it's about including the rest of us who have the same anatomy and would like to go to the doctor without feeling like absolute shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Asking not to feel like absolute shit is asking kind of a lot.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know it's like, oh, poor little cis feelings. You can't ever hurt them. They're so fragile.
Yeah. So that was like last week or like 2 weeks ago or whatever. So I guess where does what be called before whatever. Then I think the next thing was that she said that like puberty blockers are dangerous and or like should not be given to the kids, which is Anna, are you a doctor? Because if you
they are just swinging further and further to the right. Going for the
yeah,
rift.
Yeah.
yeah,
Soon they'll be
exactly.
joining Dave Rubin on the Daily Wire or the Blaze or wherever the fuck he ended up.
Mm.
Left the left.
Yes, this is Annika Sparrow's like a whole I left the left like rip started and like that
No,
now. Is where
she left the center right.
Yeah, yeah. I also kind of feel like it's not the young Turks, it's the middle-aged Turks.
And the what do you call it when they had two of their staff leave, like stated they left because of their bad opinions, and they're like, oh, those two, like the only reason they must have left is because they're grifting like Dave Rubin was. Like, oh my god, I can't. It feels like it has to be intentional. Like they've had enough not stupid takes in the past. It feels like this has to be intentional. But
Well,
it's
either
hard
it was
to say
intentional then or
when
it's intentional now, or
yeah,
maybe
I would
just
say
that as they've gotten more money, they've turned into assholes.
Yeah.
certainly could be.
yeah, I mean
This kind of tends to happen a lot with people. You give them a little bit of money, and all of a sudden they're just
They turn into
assholes.
boomers.
Jake Uger, again, at least he ran for like Congress, but unsuccessfully. But in the recent like election, mayor election for Los Angeles, backed the right-wing billionaire land baron. And apparently, according to at least one stream that I saw, is all because like Jake Uger agreed with that guy's take on homelessness, which is like it's just like, oh, it's just like, oh, the Cenk Uygur, your boomer showing, as it were. You don't, is Young Turks movements. I wonder when I heard that. Can't have been part of a major genocide in history. That's always the biggest thing that I heard about, like, Young Turks, too. Is they kind of like, either they were unaware about the name of the Young Turks, and when they were made aware of it, that like, and someone did like deny the Armenian genocide, if I remember correctly, on their
Yeah,
staff.
Cenk was a genocide denialist.
Oh yeah, there you go. So it's just like,
But I have other experience with Turkish people where they can be very, very touchy about that particular subject. It's just like that and talking about the Kurds, which is another.
Yeah, the current yeah. But now, like, so one of the things Santa Conspiracy said is and then she like, what did she said? She like seemed to like Jesse Singal now, or just like, and I'm just like, why are you like propping up Jesse Singal, maybe like liking his tweets or something like that, or saying he's right about something when like it's been proven that Jesse Singal's a turf now.
Wasn't he
He's been
always
a turf for a while.
Yeah,
for years.
he's always been a turf.
I first noticed it in an interview he did with ContraPoints way back years ago, where he was about that she changed her name, and it's like I don't didn't feel it was necessary when the article had already mentioned that she was a trans woman. It's not that sort of like it's not that it's not necessary to mention that she was called something else before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just found the wording weird. I don't know. It's a very small thing, but I just got red flags from that.
Yeah. And because of like this whole thing, it's like, oh, you're attacking me now, and a conspiracy. It's just like it's completely wrong about history. As where here's like another bad take from her. The civil rights movement did not use the same strategies as the trans movement. They didn't like barricade speakers they disagreed with in a classroom for 3 hours. They pursued like non-violence and showing America their humanity.
I would like to challenge every sort of liberal who has forgotten about history to read sort of books like The Road to Freedom, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
because that uh, I think
They had to fight.
yeah, they had to fight and they had a militant uh, uh, uh,
Wing.
faction of their
Yeah.
organization. So and that's a very interesting book. So I feel like people should read it.
Yeah, I had to like type Road to Freedom book because like when I just typed Road to Freedom, I got like 4 guides. I've been watching a lot of 4 streams though because my friends didn't stream yet, so that can explain it.
It's by Nelson Mandela.
Mm.
People forget that that people used to call him a terrorist.
Yeah, up until like 2008, he was like, the United States and like UK still considering a terrorist, all because like the movement that he was a part of
He was
try to end
blocking
apartheid.
streets and sitting at counters. It was so disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but, but 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 he did also do more direct action
Oh yeah.
stuff.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah. He was
it's
all over the place.
it's because like they were trying for like years of doing the like proper way to like protest the apartheid, but when that wasn't working, that resulted to like actual violence, but mostly just like sabotage against equipment and that sort of thing
Yeah,
too.
yeah. It's a very interesting book. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure that there are other. Um, but I just I just don't get how the whole sort of downplaying of social justice movements as being non-violent. It's just like how do people forget that it's like
Mm-hmm. As I think that I honestly do think that the reason like Lyndon B. Johnson is meeting with like MLK or just decided like I'll give you the civil rights sort of thing because if he didn't work with MLK for that passage as it were, then there'll be the Black Panthers and Michael and Alex that's right behind like MLK that will be much more violent in their attacks and approaches as approachment as well. So it's like it was kind of like a compromise for like Lyndon B. Johnson to do the civil rights thing. But again, also like Lyndon B. Johnson, still a racist himself, did also said like MLK, we can't do the economic things because like no one's going to go for that. So that's when MLK became much more like socialists were and was spoken out about like labor rights and that sort of thing too. Again, the night he was shot and killed, remember that about the civil rights movement. MLK was assassinated, as well as Franz Hampton, and like and the COINTELPRO was like used against Black Panther. So it's like,
The U.S. government
and
was at war with its own citizens. Anyone
mhm.
advocating for any sort of civil rights was targeted for violent suppression by the U.S. government.
Yeah.
But they should have been more polite about asking not to be murdered in the streets. That's the real takeaway.
yeah, it's a bad look. It's just
Mhm.
like I feel like people should not be allowed to call themselves allies ever.
Mhm.
That's a label. That's up to for other people to decide if they think you're an
If you're
ally
one of
or
the
not.
good ones, yeah.
yeah, and it's like I feel I feel uncomfortable if someone. I would feel really uncomfortable about calling myself an ally, and it's not because I don't believe in anti-racism, but it's like I have been my entire life I have lived as a white person, so it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, of course, I'm influenced by that.
Yep.
Yeah, so I will get things wrong, and
Yep.
I feel like it would just be nice if cis people could just sort of recognize that they have lived their entire life as cis people, and they don't have the experience of being trans. So it would be nice with a little bit more humility and not to tell people, oh, you shouldn't protest of that. But it's like, well, so you defend trans people, you want a cookie? Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
we're not here to give out cookies. We're here to like destroy to like it's this hetero allopatriarchy is what's the white supremacy and all the other systems attached to it too. It's like it's like calling yourself an ally is like buying hetero and putting it on yourself. You don't deserve to wear it unless it's like placarded on you by those who mattered. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Personally, I try to pretty much like anything like that. Not even just an ally with things. Even when people say that I'm nice, it's like I
Mhm.
try my best to be like, well, I try to be, and answer that way as a little reminder to myself that I'm not a good person. I am a person who is doing good, and if I internalize that I'm a good person, the things I do, I will internalize as being good, whether or not they are.
Yeah, I quote I tweeted the thing was just gender about like how it's because she was saying please don't call yourself a trans ally or that's so immediately a red flag when like someone says I'm a powerful trans ally, hello context French, and it's just like when someone says I'm a nice guy is where that's for most like women like femme people it's like that's kind of a red flag when a man says like I'm a nice guy because Sark on the Card says that about himself. You don't know me, but I'm a nice guy. And he's like, I'm sure if you get to know me, then like I'm a nice guy. It's worth. And it's like some of my friends and comrades had like said like we rather kindness and niceness as it were, but also
Mm-hmm.
that's based on actions, not on the words. It's like that. My dad says this all the time. Hey, actions speak louder than words, and we can apply that to everyone, politicians as well.
Yeah.
Um, but isn't the A in LGBTQIA plus and for ally sarcasm? And interesting, like last year, the staff of Stream Raiders is just like a web browsing game that you can play on Twitch, as it were. But like they did mistakenly thought that the A stands for ally and it should be like plus. But then they came out with a full paragraph like statement apologizing. Oops, sorry, we are wrong. We're incorrect about that. We changed the wordings and all the things, and we recognize that like A stands for asexual, as it were. We hope that like yeah, we apologize for if we meant any offense by that. That was not our intentions, as were. So they at least own up to their mistake,
Oh
as it
yeah,
were.
oh that's like that definitely shows how good of an ally they were being, just erasing Ace
Mm-hmm.
from the community. Oh
Well,
my
I mean, come
goodness.
on. Everybody actually wants sex. They're just lying because they're girls.
Shut up, John Brockman. You're a cab. We'll put you in the box, or we'll take away that cardboard box you like to get into.
Yeah.
Uh, is and as a reminder, at like June was like a Pride Month, even though we canceled it, it was actually Wrath. July is Disability Pride Month as well. So like, Pride never ends because that's queer people. They would never go away anyway, just because like no longer June.
But
Uh,
then it's straight pride.
Where are the
uh
non-disabled parking spaces? God.
Yeah.
In all of the other parking spaces.
Do you need them to be labeled non-disabled parking
Yeah,
spaces?
it would be
for you
nice.
to-
It would be nice to be recognized. I do a lot of work for this country.
Uh,
No, normal parking spaces for normal people.
That reminds me of the whole other thing. I think we already talked about a lot about like how like cis is a slur on like Twitter as it were, and but it's like we by like having the word to distinguish like a non-trans person as where it's important for like language, because if you just assume, if you just act like, well, why do we have to have the word cis and when we just have normal as word, because being trans is normal.
It's
We're,
another kind
it's
of
what
normal.
Yes, that's what we do to help normalize this. To like it's like I mean, like Case Explosion had like whole thread that she decided to like delete as it were, because she was just facing a whole bunch of harassment on it. Yeah, on Twitter, no surprise. As But that was the whole point about like meaningful language. It was like in an early alt-right playbook. Ian Danskin talked about this about like the use of words and like how normalize things. How the essayist and novelist Reinhard Delaney is were never felt like they was like words for describe like his experiences or who he was, because like he wasn't. In the 60s, he wasn't a flamboyantly gay man. He was what we now call a bear, as it were. But there was a language for that as well. So by having like the words like cisgender to distinguish like who is like non-trans as well as like transgender, trans people feel seen when we have that sort of thing. So that's the whole point with the use of languages, and to like have a word to identify non-asexual people, allosexual, and is differentiate from asexual people. It's come on, people, words are all made up. Come on, it's language.
It,
you either did a remarkable job of not interrupting your monologue, or you guys didn't hear the cannon that went off.
We didn't hear the cannon that went off.
Okay. It was very loud on my end. Genuinely surprised it didn't pick up.
yeah, that's
You have a shitty microphone. There you go.
I guess that's for the best.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything that like all the bad takes from the Young Turks as it were. I had a friend that like, and some people were disappointed because like the Young Turks did like made them more leftist as were, kind of like actually broke that like bubble or the echo chamber that were already in amongst their families of like conservative media sort of thing. But then they're disappointed now. That's just like, I'm more left wing than the Young Turks now, which honestly happens quite a bit. The YouTuber who I have my problems with, Re-Education, he actually like stopped being a Nazi because of like Christy Winters, as it were. Actually listening to a feminist and that sort of thing too. Uh, ContraPoints has lamented this in her men's video, as it were, that like that was her whole thing. She wanted to de-radicalize Nazis online, but then some of them like just became radicalized to be like leftist too, and it's just like, no, I didn't want you to go all the way for the far left. Just stay somewhere like nice, close to the middle, and stuff like that. And it's just like,
Mm,
No, that
is
was
it
actually the good outcome.
is it U.S. middle or is it the rest of the world middle?
Yeah,
I
the
think the
U.S.
rest of the-
middle is the rest of the world's far right.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
yeah. So,
But I,
uh,
I don't know if you when you're around sort of your family or your friends, how much do you moderate of what you say about
A
politics?
lot.
It,
I'll say it's so weird because it's like so different between which people, because I have friends that are, like, or well, no, my friends are pretty much but I have family that range from like openly supporting Trump to what do you call it? I was surprised when my sister recognized my thoughtful slime shirt. So, it's very
Goes both ways.
let's see. My dad does not want us to talk about politics. And I think that's like fair because like my dad doesn't want to have like another one of his children that like no longer talks to him. I don't talk to politics with my mom, and it's because like I don't think she's interested in it as well. Hey, she recognized me as like non-binary. I even asked her, "What names would you have given me if I was born in different set of genders?" I thought about like Elizabeth at the time. It's like, wow, mom, very stereotypical of you. Just like name me after a long line of English queens. But now she would be Teresa, so I'll be named after a prime minister instead. Um,
Or
but
the murderous nun.
no, oh yeah, that's right. Uh, I don't talk to my younger brother about politics. Thankfully, he doesn't either. That's because my younger brother's a bastard. I've already mentioned that. My older brother is like a liberal, and I have talked about like anarchism and socialism, where and he completely misunderstands it. He always like the class. What if we put all the stuff in the room for free for anyone to take, and one person's going to take all of it because hey, it's free? Then make more stuff.
I, I, I sort of let my real life friends know that I'm to the left, but I don't. I haven't sort of come out as like full sort of communist.
Mhm.
I kind of keep it sort of under wraps. My family, my closest family, knows which parties I vote for,
Mm.
which is a mixture of the very far left party, and then there's an alternative green party that
Mm.
I have also voted for a couple of times. It kind of swings between those two parties.
Mm. But thankfully my older sibling is like a leftist as well, and we actually sometimes like talking in DMs because like sometimes I'm the only person that they can talk to about like this sort of things too as well. And their partners definitely seems to be like left wing as well too, because like well they're non-binary, not a man, not a woman, and like being a non-binary and like USA even is just like generally speaking, not always, is typically you'll be left wing if you're queer in any way.
Yeah,
So
Just out of
mhm,
self defense.
true.
it,
Oh,
it's much more varied in Denmark, where which party you vote for when you are queer. That the
It's
party
because
that
you have more than one option.
yeah. So there's a significantly larger span. I I would say that I that there are even some who vote for for like the really sort of right wing parties like um but I kind of that always weirds me out because they always kind of say they don't like queer people, which is kind of weird, which is why you're voting for someone who doesn't like you.
Because I have a
Yeah.
small amount of money and they promise to give me more.
That
Yeah,
That's my guess. I mean,
I don't. Yeah, it's
that's how it
just.
is in the US. I shouldn't paint Denmark as being the
mhm.
same as us.
But
Yeah.
it's just like the far right parties in Denmark are a bit weird sometimes because you have the ultra sort of capitalism, but but a lot of our far right parties are sort of nationalist and sort of has this weird sort of it has a social security edge to it, but it's like only for Danish people and only
Mhm.
for all the Danish people who have always paid their taxes. So it's a
Yeah. Let's see. Georgia P. My family still has a hard understanding communist and socialism. My family's a very Democrat. Is are mostly Democrats. Yeah. Grana. I mean, I know some family that yelled at Nazis with me, so I mean that's good enough for me. Yeah, exactly. The question we're answering is Illy asked us this. Do we talk to do we temper our like political conversations when or temper ourselves or hold ourselves back when we're having conversations with our family members about politics? uh I try not to, but again it's just like that's what I always said. I don't talk to my younger brother about politics, but I won't hold back as
I mean, my
I'm,
dad and my mom are both boomers, like very much so, and that not only are they literally actually that age, but They managed to. My dad got a good job. Mom never had to work, so they had significant cash around. So they both voted for Trump. I
Um,
try
my,
to
my
push
father,
back, but gently.
my 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 father is he's a boomer. I can't really sort of think of anything else. He's just a boomer who doesn't talk to other people. So he has these weird opinions. Yeah, and I clash with him quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I can talk to my mother about things even though she's a conservative.
Mm. Yeah, something. I had interesting conversations with my coworkers. Definitely. But some of them were more receptive, as well. So there's definitely that. And like, I don't know. Again, in the past, like I tried to like be the like a liberal whisperer that tries to radicalize more liberals, but I've like found some resistance in like doing that. Is where maybe my approach, my tactics, or like well how aggressive I can be, as it were. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends on the circumstances or depends on the environment, honestly. Yeah, it really depends on me, I guess. Then again, I've talked to my dad about politics many times as we're just starting the conversation, and so there's that.
I,
Oh, I actually had an interesting conversation uh, about just a bit of my politics with the uh, anti-state violence, and they were talking about how the FBI, the ATF, and CIA, and like all of the alphabet agencies are essentially bad and do more harm than good. And I expanded the conversations like, yeah, I kind of feel that way about all like law enforcement of any sort or enforcement of state power in any sort. And then it was less contentious than I thought it might be because there is a hint of that in my job
Mm-hmm.
where, we do have to sometimes, like, we have programs to minimize the amount of violence and the amount of pain and to not cause any kind of injury. But there are times when, we have to put people in their rooms, give them shots they are unwilling to take. And,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it was actually a really interesting conversation.
Hmm. Phoenix said, like, I think both my parents are content to keep voting for the lesser two evils and not engage with the conversation of, hey, this isn't working, so let's try something else. Yeah. Uh, well, Jordan, I was lucky my parents were who all tucks ran far lefty anyway. Yeah, that was good.
it, it's just like I don't talk politics with my father anymore. Every time he even broaches like a political subject, I ask him something about accounting, which is what he used to work with. And then that just sets him off. Then he can talk for hours about things he did in accounting.
Hmm. Yeah. So what else is like happening this week as we're
There was a stabbing at the
hmm.
Uh,
University of Waterloo in Canada.
Oh, I heard
Mm.
about this.
Yeah, it was at gender critical or gender studies course.
Mm.
oh yeah, it was a turf who stabbed a non-binary person.
A professor and two students in a philosophy of gender course got stabbed by a turf.
Mm.
And the
Yeah,
response has been shrug. The official
yeah.
response, I should say.
Um,
Mm.
there was also a fairly large Danish company who pulled out of anything to do with Pride. I don't know if you heard of that company. It's called Christian Hansen.
No, I don't think I
No,
have heard of that company.
no.
So
Is it the
they
one that
pulled,
makes the little ice skates?
yes, I don't know, they pulled out of everything related to Pride because of their American workers got harassed for being pro Pride. I don't think
Awesome.
it mattered. So, but uh, Novo Nordisk. I don't know if you heard of. It's
I
a
have
big
heard of
medical.
Novo Nordisk. They support NPR.
Yeah, they called them out, which is
Mm,
weird. But
mhm.
it's like, of course, it's like it's like rainbow capitalism, all of it. So it's a bit sort of. I feel very conflicted about companies and pride in the first place.
Yeah, it's who said to me about like McDonald's or like pulling out Pride or not doing that?
It's
Oh yeah, this.
Starbucks, Starbucks also.
Mm, yeah, and this was part of the big thing too that like because of like Target did like put up like Pride things at the beginning of June, and then like a couple of like well
Christians
fascists
freaked the
honestly.
fuck out.
Yeah, and they started doing the damages to displays and stuff like that. And because of that, Target got scared feet essentially and pulled all Pride displays from older stores as well.
I think they
And
just moved them to the back, and
it,
I can't remember the details. I shouldn't.
It and it's so bizarre because a lot of cis women could also use bathing suits that has a wider gusset to keep
Mm-hmm.
everything contained.
mm,
Because, so it's just it's just like yeah. Christians are bizarre. I'm sorry to say. No.
yeah, Christians are bizarre. Let's see. Let's see. The one thing I really love about my family, at least I can like make fun of conservatives with them. Like a couple of days, my brother-in-law got high and just like, and I just made fun of like conservatives all night. Yeah. Um. I'll say this about my dad: he at least didn't vote for Trump. He knew that like he was a con man or had that impressions in the entire time as well. But like he still votes for the Republican Party. I bet. Yeah, again, my dad never liked Bill Clinton, so there's that even as well. I'm just trying to read up on like the Target thing as well. Um,
All I can say
I
is
would
I
just
blame Jordan Peterson for the stabbing at Waterloo.
yeah, I can see that honestly.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I was like, how did I saw like a Jordan Peterson on my timeline at one point? I think someone was like quoting Jordan Peterson and someone was replying to that. Um, and I was actually kind of like a bit of unfortunate news from like Kevin Logan. He got back from the vet as it were with like Rory Cats. It's not good news for Rory Cats. I think like Rory Cats is going to eventually have to be like put down as it were.
Oh,
So.
No.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because Kevin Logan had Roy Cats ever since like Roy Cat's a little baby.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rescued him, I think.
Yeah.
No, like it was like his dad, Kevin Logan's dad had like the similar kind of orange cat, and like that orange cat had like a litter as well, and so like Roy Cats was one of those from like that litter,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Yeah. That
Uh, mhm.
very sad because he's a big part of or was it? K- I don't watch Kevin on Twitch. Maybe I should watch Kevin on Twitch, but I hardly ever watch Twitch.
Mhm. I enjoy some of like Kevin Logan's Twitch streams as well. On Fridays, I think like Kevin Logan and Kristen Wiig still do their happy hour, so I don't usually check in on like those ones to work. But I should check in on
I
more
haven't
of like
watched
Kevin.
Kevin and Christy in a really long time.
Yeah.
I stopped watching mostly because their happy hours were like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
actually, Kevin Logan's like live right now on Twitch, so there's that too. Sometimes like when we're live, like Kevin Logan's live.
I kind of soured on on Christy Winters, but that's another story.
She's very liberal.
I bet I'm still a mod on her YouTube channel, even though she has blocked me on YouTube. Even if I type a message in her chat, she won't see it.
Yeah,
And I don't abuse that fact. I do not abuse that fact. I don't go and deleting like things or deleting comments on a YouTube channel. No, that's just like because she has blocked me on social media. Well before she lost her Twitter. So I just like respect and like that and just keep my distance from Christina because she doesn't want anything to do with me. And again, it's a long story there. I think I've already told on here.
yeah, yeah. But it, it's just it is kind of weird that a lot of us know each other from those from sort of the streams sort of fighting anti-feminism on YouTube, where it was a broader political spectrum, and then people started to sort of split off into into groups that are sort of more or less.
Yeah. Yeah, like Garrett over almost 2 years ago now, like had like a stream with like Captain Andy and like Curiosity talk about that. Yeah, there was like back then with that small YouTube group as were which Steve Sasha was also a part of. It was easy for what they were like. Uh, the lamb there was that Georgia and B, but like okay, so like well, first, finish my point. That like when it was like what we are against, it was easy. The fascists, the far right, and like Gamergate and the anti-feminist sort of thing. But what we're
Then they
for, that's
separated into progressive liberals on the one hand and leftists on the other.
yeah. The more marginalized people of those of that group, the trans people and the black people, the people who've been homeless before, those were the more radical ones. Um, Okay, so how I when I first started soured on Christy Winters was back in like November of 2019 on Twitter, where so again this is 2019, so when like the before 2020 election and Bernie Sanders was running, there was like a promotion for the new queer eye for the straight guy, and the five gays were talking about like Bernie Sanders and like politics as were, and one of them said, "Hey, say what you will about like Ronald Reagan. At least he knows how to use SJA." So or that. And again, so that was a gay man who's kind of like making a joke and saying at least Ronald Reagan can use hair products as opposed to Bernie Sanders. Christopher Winters laughed out loud about that on Twitter, I swear. Basically, really liked that joke because it was against Bernie. Everyone else was like telling Christopher Winters, "You're straight privilege, just kind of showing there. It's like not your place to make jokes about like the AIDS epidemics were." That's all we said. We kind of like politely said that's where she complained about being canceled for that. So that's when I soured on Christopher Winters were. On some of them Christopher Winters a long time ago. Yeah, it's again 2019, almost 4 years ago now, or 3.5 years ago now. So that's when I just decided, okay, also, I don't think if like would talk to her about politics that she would like change her position at all, which is kind of my problem. But then why she blocked me is that like uh yeah, when Kevin Logan had on one of the victims of like pick punctures or Xander Hall's like harem as a word to talk about that,
Oh,
255 AD asked like Chrissy Witters why her position. Oh no, I think all 255 AD said is just like no, I think 255 AD was asking a question. Why is it like you don't believe in a Tara Reid as it were? Because Tara Reid came out with accusations against Joe Biden for like sexual assault as well. Yeah, I think credible, honestly. But Chrissy Winters was like played defense lawyer for like Joe Biden during that whole time, just like did not believe like Taylor Reid. That was the biggest thing. I just said in that same like live chat, even though yeah, it was about Herringate, hashtag I believe Tara Reid. That's why I got blocked by Chrissy Winters. So that's the reason I like so that's the first reason I unsubbed for Chris Winters or like straight privilege was showing complain about getting canceled, and I got blocked by her because I believe Tara Reid, and that's pretty much it. A lot of people actually like and some of the other friends that I knew, some of the people who were also patrons of like Christy Witters, then unsub or like cut their patrons from like Christy Witters because of like her again when the allegations against like Richard the Coughlin about his sex pestery or his sexual misconduct came out. The same level of allegations and against Joe Biden, she believed in the victims of like Richard the Coughlin. But when it came to Joe Biden, she then became the like defense lawyer and started to like try to poke holes into Tara Reid's story as well. So yeah, that's a long story why I unsaw from Kristen Winters and got blocked for her. But now, interesting thing about Tara Reid, apparently, she went tanky. She like is in pro Putin. I think moved to Russia even. And
I wouldn't say that pro-Putin is tanky because he's not a
don't,
communist, or he doesn't even call himself a communist.
I don't get socialists who are pro-Putin. I don't get it. It's like it's not Soviet Russia anymore. It's Russian Russia. It's Putin Russia. It's has nothing to do with. It has very little to. It's like.
Well,
It's
he
just
did
a-
say anybody who doesn't miss the Soviet Union is heartless, but you're a fool if you think we can bring it back. I think is what he's something like that. So he's praised the Soviet Union, therefore he must secretly be an actual communist, and he wants to bring it back.
Yeah, it's just like you. It's just like. Uh, I I think what went wrong with Russia uh, is the state.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It, it,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
it was too big. Um,
There
not
was
to get.
let's see, Hakeem recently did a nice video talking about some of the flaws and faults within the Soviet Union, and it was more than just the one thing. You know, there was Russian ethnocentrism, um,
Yeah.
ossification within the party, lack of democracy at the higher levels.
Mm-hmm. That
And
will
they
always be
allowed
my problem.
pro-capitalist elements to basically seize control of the apparatus.
Mm. Okay, that was like a background voice and like a Joe's thing. I was wondering, like, wait, who's talking right now? Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
um, but like Tara Reid, who again I still believe credibly was like sexually assaulted by like Joe Biden based on like her stories. Unfortunately, she now is like pal around with Colleen Moffat.
Who?
Oh, that you forgot about that guy. Um, he's one of those like Marxist originalists, basically manifesto or nothing else.
Oh,
Um, he's basically like an American nationalist Nazbol.
oh, okay.
And he's like a kind of like a leader of some kind of organization or party, is that sort of thing too. Best pals with Peter Coffin.
Oh, him.
Yeah, them. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I forgot their pronouns. Honestly, I've been blocked by Peter Coffin for a long time. Anyway, but no, I'm disappointed with Tara Reid knowing this. 255 AD informed me of this as well. So like, and I believe him as well.
It's just like her political position does not take away from the fact that she was sexually assaulted
Correct.
by.
Yeah, it's but like but that Colin Moffat has like serious documented accusations against him for sexual assault too.
Yeah. So but it's just like doesn't. That's where you have to sort of divide things and say,
Right.
yeah. But it's also it's such a weird accusation to get to. Oh, you love Joe Biden. It's just like no, most people didn't have another choice to vote for, and the only two parties have to vote for.
Yeah, like Christianity said, it took a lot for her to like fuck to vote for that like rapist this word because yeah, she didn't want to. Uh, I personally did it, but like I was kind of like convinced that like Washington was going to go for Joe Biden anyway, so that's why I went with third party. And now it's just like I think I already mentioned this before, but I heard on the past in like a NPR politics podcast is where Joe Biden's only good chances of like winning re-election is when if he's up against Trump again. Not and it's not because like Joe Biden is such a good candidate. It's just like Joe Biden is better than alternative Trump. And
I think some of the other candidates might also push things in Biden's favor, like Ron DeSantis.
Yeah,
because he's proven
if he has
himself
a
to be so
chance.
vile that.
Hopefully, but Trump was elected in 2016, and people said the same thing about him.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
I know he didn't win the popular vote, but it's just like.
Yeah.
You should be careful of saying stuff like that.
I mean, Jordan P. That's a proper way to like think about Peter Coffin. Just to completely forget about their existence as well, or only remember that they appeared on the Steve Harvey show one time to kick themselves in the nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know. Given that they're kind of a groomer, maybe we shouldn't forget about Peter Coffin and instead warn people about him.
The most bizarre take they ever had was like when the Notre Dame Cathedral burned down, and they admonished people for talking about it on Twitter, and I was like, but it's not even cold yet. It's just like, why should people talk about current events?
I don't know.
Show some respect. It just died. God.
Yeah. It's like, still warm.
Oh, Twitter, you suck. I cannot like I have to like sign into like a Twitter in order to like see Twitter. Damn it! So I can't even like look at Peter Coffin and then incognito. Okay, maybe that's actually proven for people who are actually blocked by people and don't want to have any actions with people. And like, you cannot see people.
Well, no, it's because Elon Musk wants to make sure you can't see more than like 300 tweets if you're signed in, 600 tweets with a blue mark or something like that.
Yeah, it's
if you're not logged in, you can't see shit. He is.
And then he's and then he's mad at people for making a clone.
Threads.
Yeah, but I will just say to you people in the States and around the world, Threads is not legal in Europe. It's just it's our data protection rules. I just want people to think about that. I know our rules are strict, but just think about.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to remember.
Yeah. Not that it's sour grape.
Oh, that's right. There was like I think it was Elon Musk challenging like Mark Zuckerberg to a boxing duel, and it's just like
a wrestling match, and then his mom said no.
oh wait, I was right. It was like Elon Musk's mom that disagreed with that. Wow.
I just get this image of like Dexter and Mandark fighting each other. Do you remember that cartoon with Dexter's Laboratory?
I've only seen a couple episodes of Dexter's Laboratory.
That was essentially there are two nerds, and they have to fight, and they fight like this, like just slapping at each other.
Or like Jerry fighting Pissmaster in Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Which one of them is the Pissmaster?
It's just like that's why I mean even Fox did like a special one time of just like real celebrities, real boxing, them fighting in the ring, and I'm just like, why are we doing this? It's just like, I mean, it's like at least with competition, I'm a celebrity, get me out here. They can like donate money to charity too, but yet they still actually get paid for like doing the show, just like scale or something like that.
We should do millionaire boxing matches as a reality TV show. Just watch these chubby middle-aged men slapping each other.
Yeah.
Billionaires, celebrity sub-races.
Yeah. Billionaire death match.
Yes, cage match, mud wrestling, or like cream corn wrestling. It's just like
Tub racing.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? We televise so many other like that things. Or
Did they
It's already
just
proven it's good for ratings.
billionaires to do?
right, what are the builders to do? It's just like it's not like they have whole corporations that they have to like run and manage stuff like that. They have other people to do that sort of thing too. Which one would they disappear and not do, or something happens to them, not saying anything, not doing stochastic terrorism, and then like they have several other people to like run their corporations for them and to be in charge of their assets, and their families are still get the residuals. I bet. So
No, no. I mean, billionaires have already done very stupid things and put themselves in
What was
position.
that?
Yeah.
like a
When-
submarine.
Yeah.
When Elon Musk was moved into the Twitter office, and
He carried a fucking.
what do you
sink.
call it? Was apparently they did a tracking on the 3 other corporations he was a CEO on, and the only loss in profit could be directly linked to a loss of advertisers due to his behavior on Twitter. Like, his absence apparently didn't have any impact on the company that was negative.
He's sad. He's a sad,
Yeah.
pathetic little weasel.
Yeah.
Of course, his presence at Twitter has completely destroyed the company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he wouldn't necessarily have to be there. He could just have the mandate of, try to make the most money as possible and have all of those micromanaging mandates, and it would still collapse even with him not, taking actual charge like that.
Yeah. It's a bit like watching someone try to reinvent a bowl or something, or trying and failing to reinvent the bowl.
Yeah, I mean, Elon Musk must like there's the smell of his own farts. I love the smell of his own farts or something like that. Or think
They
that
smell like
shit
white
doesn't
supremacy.
stink.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's that. Because like he's how he fired most of the engineers and then to rehire them back because like Twitter was not working a lot of times. Oh yeah, and there's also the thing about like him creating his own like AI robot girl as well too, his like android waifu, and it's just like I don't honestly. If Elon Musk is having a relationship with that thing, I hope that everything goes well with them. No, I actually don't, because knowing it's Elon Musk, maybe things could go terribly wrong. Is she fully functional and anatomically correct? Is he's going to attempt to see if that's working and true and finds out? And what could happen?
I hope somebody put a blender in there.
Yeah.
It's not like she could possibly catch fire or drive the sex act into children. I'm trying to think of other things self-driving Teslas have done.
Yes, but I can't. But someone else, I think it was Chris Alcee, said, "I can't wait for like that android waifu of his to divorce him."
Yeah. I get this image in my head of like a robot woman on wheels just driving out over a cliff while it's on fire.
Mm-hmm. Just go all Thelma Louise on it as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard the Italian government said like they wouldn't allow them to use the Colosseum for the fight. That was the proper place for fighting.
But PETA came out and said it's cruel to make lions eat the loser.
Yeah, very low in fat. We're very gamey.
Yeah.
Oh.
And remember, kids, always put obsidian teeth in the anatomy of any robot woman you make.
The mention of the Colosseum reminded me of more ideas for billionaire competitions.
Yeah.
You know, against like
You don't need a
lions.
coliseum. All you really need is a dry dock.
Yeah.
You let it
Oh.
slowly fill up with water, and then you see who can tread water the longest.
All, all you need is a submersible.
Technically, a human being is a submersible. It just doesn't
Yeah.
have a very big air supply.
Yeah.
But my mind is going to weird places. I should not mention them out loud. I've already been like tarnished enough on like what I've seen on the internet.
Yeah.
Uh,
But it's just like it was I mean it that's one thing I never do in front of people who are not so far to the left as I am. I never laugh at like billionaires dying in front of my family because they wouldn't get it.
yeah. Yeah. There's some people that like even like other comrades and leftists that like still like say like the billionaire thing, the billionaire dying in the submarine is a tragedy, and it's just like it's a tragedy for like the Titanic expert dying, tragedy for the 19-year-old son dying, and like the other like innocents like dying. I'm still like I'm still just like drinking the tears of the billionaires for that billionaire dying of his own hubris though.
Yeah,
Wait, we can suffer consequences? That's not fair.
yeah. I I also I've been having thoughts about it's the least pleasurable thing I can imagine. Got into like a big tube and then just lowered in several hours with 5 other people. Imagine the fart smells in that room.
Okay, randomly mention as farts and smells is where it reminds me like how the classic film Blazing Saddles, the scene where they're all around sitting around the campfire eating beans as were, belching and farting. Apparently, though, on network TV, the sound of flatulence as it were is improper or like sensitive or like
Or was once
or
upon a
like
time.
offensive. It was once upon a time. So basically, how that scene played out on like national TV was just silence. So you see all these like men just like sitting around eating beans, looking uncomfortable, or just like changing positions, end up sitting down, and you won't get the joke.
Is that scene even necessary for the plot? I feel like they should have just cut the whole scene.
Yeah, they
They
could have.
ruined the jokes.
Yeah.
No,
I know it's not.
I'd be willing to bet $5 that Mel Brooks demanded they leave the scene in.
And that's remind me one tidbit is that like in like the scene at the chair's office after the chair was going out to like the town people to say hey, hello, it's a nice evening, and the old woman said up yours, and words were the next scene where it's just like Gene Wilder's character, the Waco Kid, was saying, listen, you gotta understand that these are just like people of the land, common
Salt of the earth.
clays, salt of
Morons.
the earth, morons. But like the actor did not know of that line, morons. So when he burst out laughing there, that was such a general reaction. All right, later contact French. I'll just check to see if the fluid voice is like on tonight as it were. If not, to like do check out the fluid voice. So, like the past shows as were. Even if they're not on tonight, this were do check out the fluid voice. They usually are live around 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Check out the past shows as well.
What a
Yeah, it reminds me. I still need to watch the archive of when Joey was on there.
The fluid voice, that's Aaron.
okay.
Yeah.
Wait. Yes.
No. Osmoth in the Dark.
Osmond.
Christy.
Aaron is. I'm tired.
Aaron Green, the sexual scholar, as it were,
Yes,
the Kama Sutra scholar, as it were, the Green Room, and as it were. support the Alicia enjoy tonight. Is that as Alicia or is that Isaiah? Because I'll click on the right as well. But like, yeah, so fluid voice is tonight. Yes, Isaiah. One extra like A as it were. So that threw me off. Yeah, it's like I think she was. I saw a video of a woman saying that's really bad for people to make fun of the death, and and she says conservatives don't make fun of the deaths of others or the people certain people with violence. I think she was a liberal.
That is false. Let's go ahead and make us up a supercut of Pat Robertson and the other guy who died, Rush Limbaugh, mocking gay people for dying of AIDS, over and over and over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And as
Yeah,
for threatening people with violence, we could do a supercut of just Trump doing that, and
yes,
then end with January 6th.
yes. That's right. I think it is. A lot of people. That's okay. I can't spell either. Like on Deck Fridge. It's Alexa the world untied. Um, and but like Elon Musk being autistic is where it's just like
Who gives a
please.
shit? You can
And
be
also
autistic
Elon
without
Musk.
being a complete piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, Elon Musk said like is one of the ones that purported that like wanted to like do give a pill to autistic people to cure their autism or to like lobotomize them or I forgot what it was exactly or design their babies as it were. That's right. Isn't his like child's name is like very confusing like name that no one knows how to pronounce as well?
It's what happens when you drop your phone onto your keyboard.
Uh, or it's like someone's password is they're going to now be the baby's name as it were, or butt dialing as it were, or will you compliment the bottom and they will just smash the keyboards as it were.
Yeah, or when a cat walks on your keyboard.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's also just like for me as I in Danish we have three extra vowels on the end of our alphabet,
Mhm.
and it's always super weird when people who don't speak Danish use those letters like for aesthetic reasons because they have distinctive sounds in Denmark.
Mhm.
So
Same thing with Greek letters.
yeah.
People use sigma to look like an E, but no, that's just the letter S, which means that you have this random sound in the middle of your word where there should be an E.
Yeah, it looks super weird. It's just like it it's just like I don't know if you can see this if I hold it up. Never mind. This is a no, you can't see it. It's the start of the child's name that the older of the two children Elon Musk has with Grimes. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Yeah, it's not an Ash, it's A.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is he? Remember, it's different when like Prince did it to like name himself the symbol, and he did it to get out on a contract as well
Mm.
too.
yeah,
Is and when as an adult, you can definitely like call yourself a different name, Muhammad Ali, the one who like not being like have his slave name as it were too. It's interesting. It's like it was a conversation that was on a Twitch stream that like rated into where it said that's weird to like name yourself or children name yourself or a criminal for a new name. Yeah, I guess like if you're a child and you're just like really big into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you probably want to call yourself Raphael, which is actually a fine name, honestly too. But just like mentioned, it's like well, actually, trans people have like they come up with like names for themselves because they come up with the new name that's closer to who they are too. And we're like, oh yeah, that's right, that's a good point too. Look
but
again. Go
but
ahead.
but but it's just taking a if it was a Danish name that used a specific Danish vowel, I would not have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when it's taken out of context, it looks weird.
Yeah.
I know that Danish speakers are not a big group, so it's like it doesn't matter. But
Language is just weird. The French, it's a word. We had a whole conversation about that. It's just like the A sounds, you don't pronounce things, or it's just like the A sounds like this. It's like the French language doesn't make sense. And then there's English, and with all the words, the silent letters is a word. Why? Why there's silent letters is a word?
yeah,
Or
It's
why do you
because
put?
French is what happens when you mix German and Latin and take away most of it.
yeah.
Take away the spaghetti
Uh,
and the beer.
which reminds me, there's a TikTok I should send to Julie. Uh,
Yeah.
because it's like it's someone is singing pong 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 ta 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 ta. It's like bread apple pie.
Oh, that right. Pain and bread sound similar in French as well.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, 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 bread in French is spelled like pain.
Julie's not here, and we're making fun of the French language as we're.
Yeah,
Maybe if we talk about it enough, then like she'll suddenly appeared in this word.
yeah, yeah,
She's
Okay,
too
that's
busy getting arrested.
yeah.
Oh yeah, there's that whole bullshit is where yeah, just because her partner's not white. Anyway, yeah, okay, thank you, George P for the link. Yeah, because like, if people should stop being mean or something like that. Okay, we'll start with start with those people first. Start with the conservatives and fascists as well, and the liberals are complacent in that too. Oh, I already mentioned this, but it was just like, my God, this is like liberals saying, I'm not complacent in the violence in the system. I vote.
Complicit. Although they
Complicit.
are complacent.
Yes, there's so much that I have to like explain about like, how wrong that statement is. I have to write a whole essay on about like how wrong that is. Uh, Again, back to like Cenk Uygur. I'm sorry, I don't think like election will solve all things. But he's a
Yeah,
politician, honestly. That's just like runs a news program.
like one of the more insightful Simpsons quotes is "Don't blame me, I voted for Kortok" or something like that.
Krotos. Kodos.
Yes,
Tiny
exactly.
Kodos.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna vote for a third party. Go ahead, waste your
Waste your
vote.
vote.
Yeah.
They weren't allowed to run because they're not U.S. citizens.
Well, for president, yes. Well,
Yeah,
it's
for
not just that they're not U.S. citizens; it's that they're not natural-born U.S. citizens.
yeah.
Because we've always hated immigrants.
Yeah, exactly. You can run for any other kind of office as an immigrant, as a word, and also, yeah, Puerto Rico is like a not as part of the U.S. Commonwealth, not an immigrant. That actually came up in like Across the Spider-Verse. That was kind of a funny scene, actually. Uh,
That it's just like it's so bizarre that they can't vote. Is that
Boop Lucidia, hope you're doing well. Hope you're not like closer to like homelessness as word. Like, and how are you doing? Um, I think Puerto Rico can vote for his own governor, and they have a congressperson, I think. But like, it's
I say I feel like it would almost have to count because what do you call it?
they can vote for the
McCain
president
was
for sure.
born on a in a military base, and that was enough.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because when you're born in a military base,
That
wherever
counts.
it is, that counts. Yes. Uh, and don't ask me why, but it does. Well, they made up the rule, so of course that's why it counts.
And
This is
basically, they
America.
don't want to punish soldiers for contributing
That
to the
makes
Reserve
sense.
Army of Labor.
Yeah, exactly. reserve army labor, actual reserve army as well in 17 years as well because they recruit them young.
Yep.
Army recruiters at high schools as
Well,
well.
notice that SCOTUS, in their recent ruling that dismantled affirmative action, kept it in place for the military.
Yep. Doing well at the moment. Went to my first Pride yesterday. I'm uncertain if I'm any less closer to homelessness, but my PCB is like trying to like set me up with like some resources. Well, that's good. At least you got that. And like congratulations on going to your first Pride. Yeah, it's always a fun experience when it's your first Pride as an out queer person as well. I remember my first like Pride. I just walked around and applied at events in like Seattle Center across the Seattle's were wearing my head to toe like Sailor Moon stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going Mohawk. I tried this year.
Nice.
That's why I'm growing my hair out on top.
Oh, that freeze is so good.
That's nice. So, Joe, where do you get that hat? Honestly, I'm just curious now, since we just made fun of it as your floppiness as well.
Pretty sure he just put a pair of boxers on his head.
I got that from here. No, I got that from here. It's
Nice.
It is essentially just like that sort of material and then a little scrunchy band. So it's not enough dissimilar from what you described for me to make a completely based, like no. It's a very similar material and it is held on by elastic, so it doesn't have any leg holes though.
It's almost like a much more fancier hairnet then, essentially.
Kind of.
It keeps the heat
Hair
in
net
too.
made of nice material.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You ended up dancing during like one of the drag performances, Lucy? That's nice. I found a 10-bedroom 18th century mansion in Latvia for 40,000 like pounds. It needs some like work. So if any like fancies setting up a commune, I'm up for it. Okay. Yeah, it's at least better than the swampland I've been hearing about all the time in Florida, so. But like I mentioned with the like real estate prices in the USA as it is, so like still mentioned that like it's pretty expensive that swampland is. But yet that's the cheapest you can get, apparently. But swamps should just go back to like it belong to the people there and the animals there. I don't want to invade like the swamp areas where. That's why you get like all these other like wild animals like in the suburban areas over there. We invaded their homes, so it's just like it's only fair that it gotta come into ours. Welcomed. There's also a lot of alligators in like Florida too. Anyway, we're approaching the 90-minute mark as a show. Thanks for the successful enough show. Like yes, it is my birthday. I've had Trapeze. Thank you all for the happy birthday wishes.
Older than you've ever been, and now you're even older.
Yes, now
the joke in Florida was any still water 6 inches or deeper, or any moving water a foot or deeper, will just about spawn crocodile or alligators.
Makes sense. So Ely, do you have still the like Instagram of your cat pictures as it were that you advertise?
Yes. That's why I'm still on Twitter. I'm hoping for a viable alternative to Twitter soon because it's just it's frustrating. That's all.
It's becoming a shittier place, but it's not. It's stopped becoming less unstable most of the time, unless an actual decision is made again, like the limiting tweets decision,
Mm-hmm.
or the limiting views of tweets situation.
Yeah, it's just like that is.
Bless you. But there is like Ely's like Instagram full of cat pictures for Princess Luna. That's the cats. And Joe, you don't have anything to like advertise or promote or anything like that. Other than like
No.
Charity Links page
really.
as we're. So yeah, give money to Phoenix, give money to Joanna, give money to Joey, the Fire Lame Deer. Oh, Joey.
I might have I have one thing, but that's for next month that I'm working on getting into art again and possibly selling some of it to pay for my cat's vet bill and my dentist bill and stuff.
Hmm.
So I might have to start to work on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Twitter is like capitalism; it just gets worse for like the community over time. Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Uh, that also reminds me as well. Like I said, I saw Across the Spider Verse last night, and I love the movie. I love Spider Punk a lot. As a word, is because like sometimes it's just like, oh, he's just like acting like people's impression of like a punk, as it were. But other times, like, no, I was exactly the same thing. When like this big void and sucking building sounds. What is that? It's a metaphor for capitalism. Yes, I was saying exactly that too. But yeah, speaking of me, I'm Summer Geek on YouTube, and though I have not posted anything in 6 months or so, Summer Geek on Twitter, yeah, I'm still on that hell side. Co-host and Tumblr though, you can follow me there for my posts and all that things. Think about typing out a thread. Oh, that's cool, George P. But also Summer Geek on Twitch. I'm after I get off this call, I'm going to start streaming on Twitch. Probably going to stream some Fortnite at like 12 and 30 frames per second as well, and see how well that goes. And
Over the years, and because they are washable. Shoot, sorry.
no problem. Yeah, charity link that page, and like I mentioned, my Twitch. And John Brockman, you're part of another podcast, aren't you?
Yes, Dungeons and Debacles. We haven't recorded in a couple of weeks because one of our party members has been moving. So their computer was all in pieces.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll be playing again very soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, speaking of mood, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Nico and Linquin have like moved, and hopefully they got the funding now to start setting up the internet so that they can start doing YouTube videos on Linquin's new channel, and Nico and Linquin go back to streaming. So, but yeah.
That would be nice.
Mm-hmm. With that said, remember it's still Disability Pride Month this month in July. The Fluid Voice tonight with Joey and Isaiah talk about like autism, Twitter, and Elon Musk, a lot of the stuff. It's a Fluid Voice, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and share the links on page. And also, don't forget, take care of yourselves, and hydrate, medicate, and don't forget to
Stay
eat
safe.
something. Stay safe.